Hi, my name is Jacqueline Janicki, and I will be reviewing Educated, which is Tara Westover's autobiographical memoir. In Educated, Tara grows up in the mountains in Idaho with an extremist Mormon family. Her father's opposition to anything related to the government prevented her and her 6 older siblings from receiving any proper education until one brother finally leaves for college. Tara escapes an abusive home life and finally finds her own way to BYU, then Cambridge, and eventually Harvard, where she learns many more lessons than what she is taught in class. Westover takes the reader with her on a roller coaster that is her academic and emotional development. Dealing with unsettled family trouble, she has a hard time finding and trusting herself. Referencing journal entries, first-hand memories, and the accounts of others involved, Westover uses various techniques of perspective to flavor her storytelling and the impact of each event. I personally really enjoyed this book. I loved her writing style. She always provided relevant context and also acknowledged when there may be inaccuracies. At the end of the book, she has a note on the text where she discusses her use of footnotes to give a voice to the memories that differ from her own. For example, on page 73, she says, "Now, at age 29, I sit down to write to reconstruct the incident from the echoes and shouts of a tired memory. I scratch it out. When I get to the end, I pause. There's an inconsistency, a ghost in the story. I read it again, and there it is. Who put out the fire? A long dormant voice says, Dad did. Blah, blah, blah." She says, I decide to ask Richard. He's older than I and has a sharper memory. Besides, last I heard, Luke no longer has a telephone. Then on the next page, 75, she includes a footnote where she says, "Since the writing of this story, I've spoken to Luke about the incident. His account differs from both mine and Richard's." This section stood out to me because of the fact that her brothers remembered this event differently than she did. And the concept that we may never truly know what actually happened is really fascinating to me. I would probably rate this book about a 9.75 out of 10. The only reason I would take off points is probably for the length of the book. The chapters are quite lengthy, but I appreciate the subsections within each chapter. It makes it much easier to read. I do think it's a fantastic book overall. It's a great read. Once you get into it, it's really easy to read, really engages you and hooks you in, and she really throws you for a ride. Tara Westover is clearly an incredibly bright woman, and I would recommend her book, her writing. I would recommend Educated to just about anyone. You don't need a particular audience, because I really think this book could appeal to anyone, and I feel like everyone could take a lesson from the way that her story is handled. Thank you for watching.